Hello again. How my heart sinks when I see that this or that organisation wishes to be more representative of the community which it serves. This is code, as I am sure many of us know, for more foreigners and black people and fewer white British people. I say this advisedly because some viewers may not realise that magistrates do not need to be British citizens. I give a link in the description to this video which confirms this, which is a document issued by the Lord Chancellor's office. I give a link in the description to this video to a press release also from the Ministry of Justice, which tells us that 4,000 magistrates are needed and that the specific aim is to try and find young people and those who will make the whole thing more diverse. You will observe that the minimum age for such recruits to sit in judgment on British citizens is 18. Just consider this for a moment. A foreign teenager can be employed as a magistrate who will have the power to send a British citizen to prison for up to a year. I wonder how many people were aware of this new development, and if viewers of this channel who were aware of it have weighed the implications. The intention is also to recruit people who one would not normally think of as magistrates. The press release gives the example of a bricklayer. Picture the scene. You are summoned by the police for some motoring offence of which you feel you are innocent and appear in court to argue your case. Who is it sitting up on the bench to decide if you or the police are correct? Why, it's a 19-year-old Nigerian bricklayer. This is not some fantasy which I've dreamed up. The word diversity comes up a few times in the announcement, which I provide a link, and this does not mean diverse in the sense of Chinese people, Indians, or those from Canada. It actually means that those organising this will be going flat out to try and get more black people sitting as justices of the peace, preferably young ones. We are specifically told that their educational level does not matter and that they do not even need to be British. As long as they are young and diverse, that's the main thing. This trend, of course, of increasing youth and diversity in public bodies and organisations is an established thing these days. We see it in the police, fire brigade, civil service and public transport, among other places. There can be difficulties, and these sometimes relate to things as basic as language and accent. I went to Lewes in Sussex yesterday and I caught the train there from London Bridge Station. When I got to the station, I went to the information desk and asked a very simple question, to wit, what time is the next train to Lewes? It could hardly be a simpler and more straightforward question. There was a time when a middle-aged white Englishman would have been able to answer that question promptly and cheerfully, perhaps even calling me sir. Yesterday there was a surly-looking African woman, and she seemed to regard my question as an unwelcome interruption to looking at her mobile telephone. When I asked the question, she didn't even reply or make eye contact with me, but spoke into her mobile in a very strong West African accent. Having done so, she stared at the screen and then told me that I needed to take the tube. I explained, which I thought was quite with some good nature. I was in a bit of a hurry, but okay, she was having difficulty. Perhaps English wasn't her first language. She had trouble quite understanding what I wanted. So I explained that that couldn't really be right because Lewes was some way away from London and that no tube train ran there. It's in Sussex. She scowled at me and then spoke into her phone again. I imagine that she was using some sort of voice recognition software that answers questions, a bit like the Alexa system. She then showed me the screen with an air of triumph. It showed Lewisham and gave me the underground line I needed to get there. She had clearly never heard of Lewis, and her phone could not understand her accent. I gave up. I might mention that she had books of timetables on her desk, but was either unable or unwilling to consult these. I have had similar experience to this in the past, as this or that place attempts to ensure that their staff reflect the community which they serve. When travelling by railway, this kind of thing can be an irritation. But I have a horrible suspicion that just as British Rail and London Underground employ people whose English is not really up to the job, so too will the Ministry of Justice, as it enables them to boast about diversity and how they are representing the community now. Surely I cannot be the only one who can see the dangers of this. I, like other people, have in the past had difficulty making myself understood to doctors and medical staff for whom English was not their first language. Often they don't understand common English expressions, and there can be a bit of a problem explaining the nature of a complaint from which one suffers. This is bad enough, but imagine if a misunderstanding could end in somebody sending me to prison. Have a look at the link I give for a document from the Lord Chancellor's office called Eligibility for the Magistracy. There is nothing there about having a good grasp of English. It says that foreigners can be magistrates, but there is no mechanism for ensuring that they can speak and understand English to any particular level. Prepared to be sent to prison by a teenager who wasn't born in this country and has only lived here for a couple of months and is unfamiliar with idiomatic English usage.